Yes guys, so today I'm going to give you my 5 top tips for hair system longevity. The focus of the system is going to be on LaVivid hair system because I'm wearing one right now. I'm going to show you a few little things that I use in my regular routine to basically get your system to last longer. So let's delve into this. So tip number 1 and tip that's most important to me is using argan oil. So introducing argan oil into your regular hair system regimen. Something as pure as possible. This is 100% argan oil. It usually comes out with a dropper like so. So you need to give it a little twist and it comes out like a dropper like that, and you'll see the actual oil itself, and you literally just drop it throughout your hair system just like that. Obviously, don't be too liberal with it because it can cause the hair to sort of clump together a little bit. So make sure that you sort of apply it quite sparingly. And then what I do is I usually use a really fine tooth comb. I usually use a fine comb like this, and I just sort of brush it through like that, because that ensures that you're getting it through as much of the hair system as possible. It actually gets on some of my natural hair as well, which is good. So I use that once every 2 days. As I said, you don't want to use it too often because otherwise it can weigh the hair system down a little bit, and it can sort of clump together some of the hairs, and you don't really want that. The only way to get rid of that is by shampooing and conditioning. And if you guys know me, you know that I don't like to do that too often. So once every 2 days I usually do this in the morning, and then because it can look a little bit prim proper if I do that. So then I get a paddle brush and I just sort of do my hair as I usually would, just like that. So that is tip number 1, argan oil. Now, argan oil is not expensive either. You can get it for about £10, £8, and it will last on Amazon, which is like $12 US dollars. And you can get it on Amazon. It's really easy, super easy. Now, before tip number 2, here's a message from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor, guys, is LaVivid. You can find them at lavividhair.com. You can get a 15% discount code on any stock hair system or accessories that I've negotiated with them just for you guys. It's Adam15. All the information is in the description box below this video. If you want high quality hair systems with good shipping times and top customer service, consider LaVivid. So, tip number 2. Basically trying to not stay out in the sun all day every day. And if you have to stay out in the sun all day every day for work or whatever, maybe you work in building or construction, try and wear a hat, because the more exposure your hair gets to the sun, the more it will oxidize, the more it will lighten. I talk about this a lot because it's probably the worst offender for shortening the lifespan of your hair system, because it just lightens it. And the same can be said for a hairdryer as well. So if you use a hairdryer too much, you will find that your hair just starts lightening quicker than it would do without using a hairdryer all the time. Now, I'm not saying don't use a hairdryer, because I use a hairdryer sometimes, but get something like a diffuser. So that's something that you can attach to a hairdryer at the end, and it basically allows space to cool down the hot air that's coming out of your hairdryer, and it basically expands the surface area of where the air is actually going, so it's not as intense on the system, and it can actually give your system quite a nice bit of body as well. Another little thing that I picked up along the way was actually using a fan. So a fan that you have in your room, you can just, if you wash your hair, shampoo or no shampoo, you can just sit in front of that and it will dry it, and it gives it a really nice body, and it doesn't damage, it doesn't heat the hair in any way. That's something that I do in summer. Obviously in winter now in the UK, it's pretty cold. Kind of too cold for that kind of thing. So if I'm going to use a hairdryer, I attach the diffuser. I apologise, I don't have it on me. It's next door, but you can get it on Amazon. I'm going to put it as well in the description box below. Now, number 3, we have a colour depositing shampoo or conditioner. They basically do the same thing. This is Back to Natural. So this is a really good brand. I've been using this for quite some time. LaVivid sell it, other suppliers sell it as well. There are other ones on the market as well. There used to be one called 4 Reasons. I'm not sure if it's still on the market. I used that once and it was fine, but we're going back about 3 years. But yes, that can elongate the amount of time you get out of a particular system, because whether you hair dry it, whether you're in the sun too much, whether you shampoo it too much, eventually if you've got slightly lighter hair, it will start developing brassy tones, because these hair systems, the hair on them are very, very heavily processed. They are dyed, so they will lighten in time. And yeah, as I said, with the Back to Natural, it's really good. It usually gets me on average about another month to 2 months out of a system, because it just sort of semi-permanently dyes it back to the original colour you bought it with. So you want to make sure you've actually nailed the actual colour that you've got. You know what the colour was originally, and you can basically purchase a leave-in conditioner that matches that colour and use it maybe every 2 weeks, maybe once a month. You know, I usually use mine every 2 weeks when a system is coming towards the end of its lifespan and I want to get more time out of it. And now we're at number 4. Yes, it's number 4. I haven't had my morning coffee today. I'm taking a break from coffee because, as I've mentioned before, I've got gastritis. I've had it for like 3 years. It's when your stomach produces too much acid, and it can be very painful. And things like coffee, alcohol, spicy food, 3 things I really do enjoy having, typical, are actually really bad for gastritis. They increase the acid in your stomach. And yeah, I'm going through a tough time with it at the moment. So I'm off all caffeine, and as a result, my brain is operating a little bit slower than it usually would. So please do forgive me. But we are indeed at number 4, and that is to treat your hair system with respect. Tip number 4, to increase longevity with your hair system, treat it with respect. Be gentle with your system. These things aren't made out of concrete, okay? If you go hammer and tong, if you go really forceful with your hair system, hair's going to start falling out. You might end up sort of risking tearing the base. We've all been there. People who have been wearing systems for a while, who are watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. We've been there, and it's a result of lack of care. Occasionally it's just bad luck, but usually it's a result of lack of care. And these things are an investment, okay? And you don't want to lose that investment in a millisecond just by being too forceful with your hair system, whereby you end up tearing the base and it's irreparable and you have to get a new one for another 250 to 300 pounds. We don't want to do that, so please be gentle with it. The sort of metaphor I always use is like, treat it like you would one of your pets. Now I'm hoping that everyone watching this video is very gentle and loving with their pets. I certainly am. But treat it like it's one of your pets, you know, show it some love, basically, give it some TLC, and it will treat you well and respect. So tip number 4, be gentle with it. And tip number 5, one of my favourite tips, and I bang the drum on this one all the time. People who've been watching my content are probably sick of me talking about this one particular tip, but I love it and it works a charm. Wear a do-rag at night. Wear a do-rag at night, because then your system will not experience any friction against your pillow when you're tossing and turning in the middle of the night, when you're sleeping. I've also got a silk pillow. I think the do-rag is more effective. It's also cheaper, but I understand that, you know, if you're sharing a bed with someone, they maybe don't know that you wear a system, or you share a bed with someone and they don't, or they think that your do-rag looks weird, and it makes them quite nervous. I remember when I first started wearing a do-rag, and my girlfriend was like, "Why are you wearing that? It looks really weird." She's used to it now. But it took a couple of weeks for her to really adjust to me wearing this thing. It took me a while to adjust to it as well. I look like a rapper, which I'm fine with. But yeah, if you can't wear a do-rag, I would highly recommend getting a mulberry silk, 100% mulberry silk pillow is the best one you can get. It's not expensive, 20 quid on Amazon, maybe that's like $24, $25 American. A really worthwhile investment. Do-rags are between $5 to $10. So, you know, 5 quid. You wouldn't be expecting to spend more than that. I'd get a couple though, and don't get a white one. Please don't get a white one, because they stain really easily. I got a white one and it was covered in stains within 3 months. So now I've got a black one and a blue one. Blue is my favourite colour, and black is very hard to stain it. So they barely need to go into the wash. They only really need to go into the wash when I've been wearing it for like 3 months and they stink a bit. Wait, 3 months? No, like a month rather. I wash them every month, but I try to put them on a very low temperature wash, like 30 centigrade in the washing machine. And I tend to use like it's like a liquid soap when I'm washing them in the washing machine because it's very gentle, and this is silk after all. You can sort of get away with satin with a do-rag, so that's worth considering if you can't find a silk one, but silk is the best, so definitely worth considering. And one last message, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. About 70% of the people who watch my videos actually don't subscribe, and you know, I think if you're experiencing hair loss or you wear a hair system and you know you want free advice and tips and insights, then you're kind of missing out if you're not subscribing. And I make this promise to you that if you do subscribe, I can make this channel better and better and better, because more people are going to be able to access this content, and the bigger subscriber base I get, the more time I can spend on this and the better I can make it. So please do consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button as well, because then more people can find this kind of content and it can help them too. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.